Hi everybody, from time to time I'll be recording a membership memorandum as per today, and I'll also be doing an interview with Andy Benson on the ROS Media channel about what's going on and what we're doing and what I'm doing to navigate through to the next big phase of our nation, our sovereign nation. As you know, I've got a goal of a pathway to 500,000 envoys operating in a sovereign nation or within a sovereign nation with its own infrastructure of energy, of communications, of health, of water, of food, of its own currency, all of those things. And I'll be talking about that in more detail on an upcoming webinar within the next couple of weeks. What is the Freedom Plan? How does it work? Why does it work? Why do we need to do it in the first place, etc. So many of you already know these things because you've been on our conference back in 2023. But for new members and new envoys into our community, that you probably don't know what the plan is, why I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, etc., and what progress we're making towards it. But today I'm just going to give you a brief overview on what's currently going on with some of the challenges we're facing and what I'm doing to overcome them and actually turn the challenges into opportunity and into solutions. So as you know, we've had a massive knockback and setback last year in September by the saboteurs, internally called the pirates, various people that were working internally within what was Matrix Freedom, rebranded and relaunched as Republic of Old Souls following the September terrorist attack by the pirates. As I think everybody knows, there was a $600 million confirmed IRS wages and tax transcript attack via 𝐕𝐈𝐃 and the former US trustees. You've all heard me talk about this and go on about it, so I won't go into much detail. But that's been a massive setback, and also the fact that there is circa $2 million worth of currency that is being frozen as a result of the FCA's attack, which is the Order 34/2023, which has prevented us from rolling out various things that we had and I had in our plans in 2025. So between September of 2025 and now we're in April of 2026, we've actually done extremely well to keep on going, given the fact that our entire reserve was wiped out by the fraud of 𝐕𝐈𝐃 and our entire recoupment process was wiped out by the undermining and the fraudulent reports or the reports that 𝐕𝐈𝐃 and her pirates issued to the IRS, which undermined all of the recoupments, which were just about to pay out. And for those who don't know this, Lisa Griffin, who is the ex-head of our tax department, she had her payout. She resigned in January of 2025, but she actually got her recoupments in between June and September of 2025, before the IRS froze all of the recoupments, as I've detailed and documented in previous updates, documents, memos and interviews. So we do have a track record of delivering on recoupments. We had 5 recoupment checks delivered in 2024 to our pilot scheme members. Lisa Griffin got her recoupments between June and September of 2025. And the Clifford Protocol, which, as you know, I've recently written a document which is signature credit. Could it win the Nobel Prize? A lot of people have had very positive comments on that, which is all the lawful reasons why recoupment works, how I've identified exactly how the system works and delivered and developed a system to lawfully enable members of Republic of Old Souls and envoys of Republic of Old Souls to recoup their signature credit, as I have also outlined on many of my webinars in my technical books and documents, etc. But anyway, back to the update for today. We've been suffering from the permanent and perpetual propaganda that's out there. We've got people like Simon Goldberg, who's perpetually putting out propaganda. We've got Dan Needle, who's been employed by the FCA to put out propaganda. We've got the legacy of open democracy and their propagandists out there on the internet. We've got David Aarist and his propaganda being pushed out there. All of this is affecting our ability to recruit new members, but it is actually an opportunity for us to use it to our advantage, as all problems and challenges are. If you look at them from a different lens, you can actually use them for your advantage. And I'm certainly using the attacks, the propaganda attacks that we're perpetually suffering from, to use that to grow and to increase and to improve our levels of efficiency. Because when you're under threat, you've got to be optimally efficient, and that's the major upside of those propaganda attacks. It also makes us leaner, it makes us more nimble, and we're able to deal with the propaganda in a much more efficient way than probably we ever could have done if we'd never been under the offensive of these propaganda attacks. At the moment there's a battle going on. It's a high stakes battle in the UK Court of Appeal. So you've got the FCA case, which I've said from the beginning, Order 34/2023 is a void nullity. I think you've all heard me report on why. The FCA don't have a verified prosecutor. The fictional character they say is Alistair Mackenzie. I say he doesn't exist. I've challenged the FCA on multiple occasions to prove he exists, and I've never been able to prove it. Without a valid prosecutor, there cannot be Order 34/2023. I've also challenged the fact that there's no evidence of any regulated services being provided by me or anybody else connected to what was Matrix Freedom. They've not been able to evidence that either. And then I've also challenged them over the fact that they served writs, warrants and orders on an email address that doesn't belong to me, and I don't have a registered address in the United Kingdom, so there's no service either. So for those three reasons, I say Order 34 and the sentence that was handed down in September of 2025 is a void nullity. It's currently out of the UK Court of Appeal. They're stonewalling it. They don't want to take it. I'm pushing and pushing for the case to be reviewed by the judges in the UK Court of Appeal. I have every right for it to be reviewed, but of course, if I win that case, it's a massive blow to the FCA. It unravels a near 20-year story, as many of you already know, about me being the whistleblower against HBOS and many other things which I've covered in previous documents, documentaries and interviews. So it's a massive problem for the FCA and the establishment. To allow me to win that case will have massive consequences for the FCA, but it's also being used in New York, because the New York case against 𝐬𝐴𝐫𝐴𝐺𝐵, who basically defrauded and stole about $1.5 million worth of my reserve, is also being linked to the UK Court of Appeal. The New York court is looking at what's going on in this UK Court of Appeal case to see whether it's got anything, to basically delay and to stall on actually looking at the theft that 𝐬𝐴𝐫𝐴𝐺𝐵 embarked on, the fraud and the theft of the reserve. That case has been stalled now since November of 2025, and the UK Court of Appeal case has been stalled since December of 2025. So they're both in a stall position. Then we had a new threat, which was Dan Needle filing documents in Wyoming at the Wyoming State Bar that suggests that his allegations are that the MLITR research, which is the trustee and the provider of the research reports that I push out into the market on a regular basis. He says that Ecclesia Law, MLITR research, needs a bar license to do what it's doing. It doesn't need one, and there is a complaint there at the Wyoming State Bar, which could threaten the recoupments. It won't do, but that's what it's designed to do, because that company, MLITR Research, in Wyoming is the trustee for all of the newly filed recoupments for all of our members going through signature credit recoupment. That's a threat. I'm dealing with it. It's Dan Needle trying to undermine the recoupments yet again. He undermined them in 2025 with all of his negative propaganda, and 𝐕𝐈𝐃 using Dan Needle's propaganda about Iain Clifford being a tax fraudster to undermine the recoupments in 2025, and he's now trying to do it again by trying to undermine MLITR Research, which is operating as basically the trustee for all of the recoupment filings that we've done in 2026. He won't win that, but it's still a threat. The IRS whistleblower, well, that's also because we have the 𝐸RO has filed a complaint at the IRS at the end of 2025 in relation to Amy Sanger, Lisa Griffin, Marilyn Prospero, David Ayaris, who fraudulently used his 𝐸RO license to file their own 1099 OIDs, who undermined all of the recoupments by sending in fraud identity reports to the IRS, bogus fraud identity reports. That's going on now. This case could actually put all of these people and many others in jail for 2 years because it's federal misdemeanor to do wire fraud and RICO fraud against the United States Treasury, and also to undermine all of our members' recoupments. That's all currently being investigated by the IRS. And then you've got the fact that we've not been able to access the reserve. So we actually had to start in September, minus about $200,000, which was our current invoices and expenses that we weren't able to finance in September 2025 because our reserve and all of our bank accounts have been shut down by Amy Sanger's pirate team to undermine everything we were doing. So we've come back from that, and we're still operating and we're still delivering everything we can to our members. We've also got some other issues that we've been wrestling with, which is the delivery of all of our projects and our operations. No, we're not struggling with it, but it's not operating with the level of efficiency that I would like to see. So because of all those reasons, what I am doing is bringing in AI. We're bringing in AI. As much as I don't like AI, the agenda behind AI, I actually think that the use of AI is a very smart move, as can be seen in all the research reports. The use of AI does increase efficiency. Now, what we're going to be doing with the AI is, first of all, we're going to be using AI internally, and we're currently developing it now so that it can operate through project management, through operations management. It's going to assist us to deliver to our members more efficiently. It's going to enable every one of our over 50 contractors every day to know what to do and how to do it using centralized AI, which will review what they're doing, what their objectives are, give them the day's tasks, the day's objectives, how to do it in the most optimal way. It's also going to enable us to deliver information to our prospects and our members, because there will be an Iain Clifford avatar that goes with the AI system. So everything that I know in all of my ecclesial law research papers, in all of the webinars I've presented, in all of the Q&A sessions I've done on ROS Media, all of my knowledge, and as it goes on going forward, as the knowledge, as the webinars, research papers, interviews continue, all of that information is loaded up into the Iain Clifford avatar, which will enable prospects, which will enable those being referred by advocates. It will enable existing members to access me, basically, the clone of Iain, so that you'll be able to ask the Iain and Clifford avatar what's going on with anything in the organisation. If you're already an existing member, you'll be able to get an update from me on what's going on, generically, what's going on with your protocols, what's going on with your process. But if you are a prospect, if you are looking at whether to join the Republic of Old Souls, if you're looking at what are we offering, how does it work, why does it work in all the protocols, then the avatar, Iain Clifford avatar, will be able to deliver presentations to you and answer all your questions. And then in relation to problem and solutions, every week I'm doing a problem and solution webinar. I'm picking different problems from around the world. I'm showing you on the webinars how to overcome those problems with the art of legal warfare, with the combination of the Great Escape protocols. All of these things are, groundbreaking and play to my strengths as being a disruptor and a problem solver with my INTJ brain type and my ability to solve complex problems. But the problem is that if you wanted to void your mortgage, if you wanted to deal with mortgage foreclosure, if you want to deal with landlord taxes, which are destroying landlords in the UK, if you want to deal with Australian tax problems, if you want to deal with problems that are going on in New Zealand, Canada, in any of the countries that we have membership, then you need assistance, and we can't be providing individual assistance for each of these cases. So what I'm working on is to rolling out an AI system which will be specifically designed to deal with mortgage foreclosure, to issue all of the documents that are required for the court cases, to use the Iain Clifford avatar so that you'll be able to ask it what to do and how to do it, to be able to use AI and an Iain Clifford avatar together to manage the cases, to manage the problems, to roll out the solutions, etc. In terms of the power of AI, it's a massively powerful innovation. Now, used in the right way, actually using AI to be able to recruit 500,000 envoys and take us into our own sovereign nation with its own infrastructure is the ultimate goal. Without the use of modern technology, there's no way could we achieve this. That's a little bit about what we're doing and how we're doing it. And then I just want to turn to just some stats on AI. I won't go through all of the executive summary, but I do want to go into some of the stats just very briefly on how AI is being used for things like marketing and sales, massive increases in productivity, in information flow, in prospects understanding what it is you're offering, how it works, why it works. So both in marketing and in sales, AI and AI avatars are making a huge difference around the world. Then looking at project management and operations management. The old way of doing things with project meetings, using Jira and scrumming projects and all of those, that's replaced by AI and the ability to coordinate everything and join all the dots up and give clear instructions to everybody working on projects on what to do and how to do it. And then you've got information delivery, so updates, being able to ask Iain the avatar what's going on with your own process, your own protocol, whatever it is you're doing with the organisation. You'll be able to ask 24/7 what's going on. That avatar will be directly connected to our platform, so that you can go in there and have a look on your platform dashboard, but you could also ask the Iain Clifford avatar what's going on with your case. You could also use this if you're an advocate and you want to introduce people. Rather than try and explain what we're doing and how we're doing it, you can just introduce the person you're trying to refer to the Iain Clifford avatar. So all sorts of advantages. The future is obviously, there's lots of technology out there that's being rolled out. We're going to be using it for maximum effect. I completely understand the agenda behind AI, but if we can control it, we can actually use AI against the very people that are trying to control us. With the rollout of our freedom nation, with its own sovereign status, with its own infrastructure, using AI to assist us in recruiting new members, in delivering all of our objectives more efficiently, I believe that we can achieve the dream that I've got, the goal that I've got, which is to set 500,000 people free from the global control agenda. Thank you for watching.